Yeah, here I am, the original HBIC, Katie motherfucking Boyd. And on today's episode of the Ambitious Podcast, we are going to be talking about how success is simple. And I am going to be giving you all of the reasons why success is simple and how you can achieve ultimate success in your life, in your relationships, in your spiritual connection, as well as in your finances. And I'm going to be totally real and totally raw and honest with you today. Not that I'm not ever those things, but this is a compilation of everything that I have accrued over the years being a multi 6 and 7-figure business coach. Obviously, you guys know that I work with women from all across the globe on scaling their service businesses to 6 and even 7 figures. And I have a track record that is a mile long on all of the women who I have helped their businesses not only start, but scale, have their own virtual companies so that they can have the triple threat of freedom, which is financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. And I think for me personally, as being in the service industry for the last 25 years, being someone who deeply is in love with what I do and my clients, I'm telling you that success is simple. It may not be easy because you have to put in the sweat equity, but it's simple. And I'm going to give you all of the reasons why it's simple. And I'm going to tell you probably what you're doing wrong in so many ways so that you can fix it. Or shut the fuck up and stop talking about how everyone's lucky and everyone else has everything and why can't I? It's like, bitch, wake up and smell the blue waffle. Okay. It is no one's fault except your own. And in this day and age, everyone is so motherfucking weak. They're all such little pussies that it is so easy to be great. It is so easy to be wealthy and joyful and happy. And I know people are going to come and they're going to say, "Oh, but Katie, you don't understand. I've gone through all this trauma in my life. I can't be successful. I have this story." Well, I'm here to tell you that if you listen to this and you don't divorce that story, then you actually deserve to have a shitty ass life that is mediocre as fuck. And like we say in Portuguese, mais fica, which means more for me. I know this is not the podcast that you come to get your nipples licked. Okay. There's no whipped cream. There's no dreams. This is just total, blatant, raw, real chitter chatter. Okay. So I was thinking about this. Every morning, one of my rituals that I do is I love to tidy my house up. If you've ever been in my home before, you guys know that I have a very immaculate home and it's just part of who I am. There's something about every day waking up and having this beautiful, pristine environment. You guys know that's something that I talk about a lot in my book, Ambitious. I talk a lot about it on my social media. I show you guys my home. I'm not afraid to bring you into my life because I think that the best role models out there, the ones that we as women and men should be looking up to, are these people that don't just talk the talk, they walk the motherfucking walk. And I will say wholeheartedly that I am that person. I'm not perfect by any means, but when I wake up in the morning, I have an agenda. I know that I have so many hours in the day, that I have so many things that I must accomplish to cross all the T's and dot all the I's. And I do all things through God. So in my heart, when I wake up in the morning, I know that I'm giving myself to a higher power. And I know that every person that I help and that I touch all across the globe is going to be better because I was in their life in some small or very large way. And I think a lot of you guys out there are not doing that. But I was cleaning up my house in the morning and I was just, sweeping up and, cleaning up is actually a very spiritual ritual. I believe that cleanliness is next to godliness. And when you're cleaning and you're removing that energy in your home, especially, That's how God can speak to you. That's when your channels open. You know, it also happens in prayer, it happens in meditation, it happens maybe when you're working out or you're taking a walk or you're doing something very passive, like maybe gardening, a hobby or whatever. But one of the things that I do every day that gives me my best ideas is just cleaning up. So I was sweeping my floor and I heard this voice speak to me, and it was obviously higher self, God. And this is what it said. Okay. So hold on one second. Put on your rubber underwear because this is going to blow you away. The voice said, if the person that you are at this moment is hurting the person that you are trying to be, cut the person off. Now, when I heard that, my mind just kind of exploded because I was like, oh my God, I've never thought about it in this way before. So I started, asking God, like, tell me more, tell me more. And the voice said to me, if someone in your life, like a friend or a colleague or a family member or just someone that's close in your periphery, if that person was constantly berating you, talking shit to you, putting you down, distracting you, making you feel guilt or shame for trying to be more, for desiring more from your life. So think about it. Get that person in your head right now because we all have that person in our life, or maybe we have people, multiple, that show up in our lives and bring nothing to the table but distraction and drama and just total bullshit. So get that person in your head right now. Now, if that person was doing all the things that I just said, and that person was throwing a wrench in your wheel every day and was keeping you from your greatness, you were allowing them to keep you from your greatness, what would you do to that person? Would you just keep giving them chance after chance after chance after chance, and you were making excuses for them and you were allowing them to come into your life and do this devilment? I would say 9 times out of 10, you would probably either A, cut that person totally off, get rid of them 100% from your life, or you would set up some really strict, fierce boundaries to tell them, like, listen, I love you. You're in my life. You're my mom. You're my friend. You're my, colleague. You're my coworker. And I adore you. But what you're bringing to the table right now in this season of my life is not helping me be the best version of myself. And I truly believe, me personally, Katie, I believe that you are the sum of the 5 people. Jim Rohn said this. You are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Okay. So if that's true, and you are shaking your head out there in bitches land and you are saying, yes, Katie, I understand what you're saying. I would cut that person off, or I would put pristine, fierce ass boundaries in play so that they could not keep fucking up my life. If you would do that to that person, why would you not do it to the person that you are right now that is hurting and keeping the person in the future that you are working so diligently and determined to become? Why would you keep allowing that person to do that to you? You wouldn't. So just like you would cut that person off in your life, I want you to think about cutting the person off that you are right now, letting them totally be dead, just killing it off, 100% deciding the person I am today, I can no longer be that person because I cannot achieve the things that I desire in my life if I keep showing up every day as the person that's hurting the future me. Okay. Are you guys, is this clocking for you? Are you following this? Because I'm telling you, this is an idea that I've never had in my life. And I have been in the coaching world for 25 years. I've been in the health and wellness service industry for 25 years. I've been a business coach for over a decade. Okay. I have helped some of the most incredible women in the world achieve greatness, whether it was through the Miss Universe, Miss USA, and Miss America pageants, or it was in the gym, getting their bodies to be the healthiest that they can be, or helping women in the service industry attain these multiple 6 and 7 figures, and like I said, the triple threat of freedom. So I know firsthand that it takes focus and determination and getting up every day and doing the boring ass shit that does not look good on paper, that is not sexy by any means, that does not look good on social media. But those are the things that get you closer to the person that you desire to be, right? Okay. So now that we've got that out of the way, because this whole podcast was really funded and founded by that idea that I had that day sweeping my kitchen floor. So here is all the reasons, in my opinion, and like I said, I've compiled these over the years being in this industry, of all of the women that I have worked with who had so much drive and so much determination and so many God-given gifts and talents that they were squandering. They were literally slapping their creator in the face every motherfucking day when they get up and they don't do the thing that they know that they must do to become the ambitious woman that God put you here to be. So here is the biggest reasons why people are not successful. And maybe this is you. Maybe I'm talking directly to you. And if I am, that's okay. Because when you know better, you have to do better. And if you know better and you don't do better, you're a dumb bitch. And move the fuck out of the way for all of the bitches from all across the globe who are going to step up and do the boring shit and do the unsexy shit and do just like the drudgery and the grind and just showing up day after day and just knowing there's no other alternative. You know, what is the other alternatives for giving up? Just being a mediocre motherfucker. I don't desire that in any way, shape, and form. So the first one, and I can fall culprit to this too all the time, is the reason why you're not successful is you have lack of focus. Okay. So think about it, lack of focus, constant distractions are preventing you, okay, from concentrating on your financial goals, your health goals, your wealth goals, your business, your spiritual connection to the divine, your loving, joyful, connected, grounding relationships, the home of your dreams, the car of your dreams, the first class vacations all across the globe, the friendship circle of your dreams. That is what is keeping you small. That is what's keeping you mediocre. And that is what's ultimately killing your success. So when you don't have clear cut focus and you don't even know why you're showing up and what you're doing every day, and you don't have like, and I'm going to show you. So this is what I use every day. This is my little sticky note. And first thing in the morning, when I get up and I'm awake, I go down to my office and I get a sticky pad like this. So if you're watching on YouTube, this is what it looks like. Okay. I'll post this also on my Instagram. And what I do is the first thing that I do is I write down the day and the date. And then from the top down, I write the most important things to the least important things. Now, it doesn't mean that the least important things aren't going to help move the lever, right? Or the needle forward. But there's obviously a hierarchy of what I, as an entrepreneur and a giver and a service provider, what I must achieve every day. So if you go back to it, the first kind of thing that I write on my list is I write my bitch list. So the bitch list is the 3 to 5 things that if you do nothing else in that day, if you accomplish literally when I say nothing else in that day, you're still going to feel like $1,000,000 because you're like, at least I got my bitch list done today. And I feel good about that. So my bitch list changes all the time, but it's mostly based on things that fill up my cup first before I go and try to help others fill up theirs. So that has to do with movement. So, for example, I'm recording this on a Thursday and I have my health and wellness studio, KBMFC Wellness, open later on today. So I know that today I am going to go to KBMFC and I'm going to teach 2 back-to-back classes of movement and stretching and myofascial release and somatic movement and yoga and weightlifting and resistance training and cardio and, you know, really recalibrating my nervous system workout. Okay. So I'm going to do that for probably 2 hours today. Maybe tomorrow, because it's a Friday, I have a little bit more leniency in my schedule. So what I'll do is I'll get up and my movement will be, you know, an hour ruck on my Peloton at my house. And then maybe some myofascial release, a little flexibility, a little mobility training. We call that the positive protocol at KBMSC Wellness. And it's just making myself stretch and feel good and connect with my body. Okay. Maybe on another day, it's taking a really long walk with a friend. But every day, part of my bitch list that keeps me focused, keeps me away from distractions, helps me gain more success every day is number one, a movement practice. Number two, it's clean eating, right? So if you follow the positive protocol, if you see what I'm eating every day, it's getting my 1 gram of protein per ideal pound of body weight every day, making sure that my carbs aren't out of control, that I'm not eating a lot of sugar, I'm not eating a lot of starches, I'm having a lot of fiber, I'm having a lot of greens, I'm hydrating, right? I'm hydrating with my Keto Chow. Keto Chow is now a sponsor of the Ambitious podcast. We'll talk about that later. But I'm hydrating with my Keto Chow electrolyte packets. I am, really focusing on what's going into my temple, what's going into my body, making sure that it's going to fuel me for my day. It's going to fuel me for my workouts, and it's going to keep me healthy and well. And I'm not going to get sick. I'm not going to get a cold that's going to take me out because I am working on my immune system through the food that I put in my body. And then my supplements and my peptides, every day I have a very specific supplement regimen. Every night I take my peptides, which is the Sermorelin, which is a secretagogue to growth hormone, which helps you retain your muscle. It helps you when you sleep release more of your own growth hormone from your pituitary gland, which just helps with recovery and sleep and muscle tone and body fat, taking your body fat down. And then my other parts of my bitch list is definitely spiritual divine connection, whether that's breath work and meditation or whether that's praying the rosary. But I'm always checking in with God. I'm always checking in with my guides, my higher power, my higher self. That's so important to me. And then usually thrown in there is some kind of connection activity, whether it's connecting with my husband or connecting with a friend or going out in nature and grounding. Maybe I'm going out in my garden or I'm just sitting outside and getting some sunshine on my face first thing in the morning with a cup of coffee. So those are my bitch lists. And that is always going to be part of my focus routine that is going to be on my little notepad every day. And then anything else that's on my notepad is really just kind of like three-dimensional, just things that I have to do every day. So I'll just read a couple things. I have to write up a couple agreements for new people that I'm working with in my business mentorship container. So I'm writing up agreements today. I am cleaning up my emails and my direct messages, and I'm cleaning up my app, any messages on there, any comments, writing back to people that have commented on my social media or in my app or on my Facebook, Instagram, etc. I am also doing show notes for my podcast, sending them to my podcast editor. I'm doing voiceovers for certain things for my social media company that I'm working with. So those are kind of just little admin things that they have to be done. If those things aren't done, I don't have a podcast, I don't have businesses, I don't have clients, everyone's mad, no one's happy, and I'm not a successful person. So that's the first thing. That's the first thing why you're not successful. You have no focus and you have no clear cut what I must accomplish every day to move the needle forward towards my highest, greatest good and the woman that is becoming the next version of myself. Stronger, smarter, wealthier, happier, more free, right? Really focusing on my core desired feelings, which my number one is, as you guys know, is freedom. The second reason why you are not successful is you have poor time management. So all distractions, as we all know, and I can say this till the cows come home, but all distractions lead to inefficient use of your precious time, your precious human life. Okay. So this is resulting in obviously missed opportunities, right? This is making no time for like side hustles or little hobbies that you want to do, to counteract your work, or maybe a side hustle that maybe is your hobby, that is going to bring more wealth and abundance into your life and into the life of your family. It's going to take time away from more skill development, more personal development, and all of these things really will improve your connectedness to the divine and your financial situation and your relationships and your health and your all of the things that I speak about in Ambitious, right? The 6 life makers. I can't tell you how many women tell me that the reason why they can't work out and the reason why they can't eat right and the reason why they can't start a business, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Fill in the motherfucking blank with all these damn excuses that make no sense. They do not, they're just victim mentality. Okay. I can't tell you how many women say that they don't have time for these really important things, but then they're scrolling on social media for hours on end. They're talking on the phone with so-called friends, gossiping about shit. They're not waking up every day and saying to God, use me. I am your humble servant. I will do your work. And the majority of people that I have worked with that have never, ever accomplished what they set out to, so much of it has to do with poor time management. I love using time blocking techniques. Okay. I really, really love using time blocking techniques. I've talked about it ad nauseum on this podcast, but I use the Pomodoro timing technique. I also use the Eisenhower matrix, right? Go back. I did a whole podcast on that. And I really do time myself. I say, okay, you have an hour to get this thing done. You have an hour and a half to podcast and upload it and get it in your Dropbox and get it to your editor and get it to your social media people and get it to your team to do your show notes and get those emails done. If I didn't have great time management skills, I would be pretty much probably living in a van down by the river. Okay. And if you're living in a van down by the river, it's probably because you're distracted as fuck. You don't know what goals you want to achieve, and you have shitty ass time management skills. The next reason why so many people are not successful and they're just leading these just low vibe, mediocre lives is they have way too much emotional and energetic drain. What do I mean by that? So many people that I've worked with, they juggle way too many distractions, and all those distractions that they're juggling cause stress, cause just total frustration. And at the end of the day, it truly reinforces a sense of helplessness and victim mentality. I've talked about victim mentality a bagillion times on this podcast, so you know what it is. And if you haven't yet, go back to the old podcast and listen to them from the jump. And when you are in that helplessness and you are in that deeply entrenched in that victim mentality, this is where you will end up feeling unable to control your circumstances, to control your emotions. And I don't know about you, but when I get like that, and I do let myself go back to these old shitty ass habits sometimes, I get angry, I get frustrated, and then I feel resentful. And then I end up not liking the people that I work with. I get angry at people that try to waste my time. And I just get cuntier and cuntier and cuntier. And like no one wants me to be any more cuntier than I already am. Okay. That's just like nuclear. Okay. So emotionally draining things, we have to get rid of them out of our lives. I'm going to give you all the tools that you're going to need by the end of this podcast to listen to what I'm saying and then to have all of these little levers that you can pull when you start going back to this old way of being, that hypnotic rhythm, that learned behavior, whether it was from your family of origin or you just learned it growing up from people that were caregivers or you just were around a bunch of shitbags. Okay. And that is not about you. Okay. It's how you were raised and who you were raised by and the circumstances and the experiences in your life that you had and endured. But you don't have to, as a grown ass adult woman, keep dragging this bullshit on and on and on throughout your life. You don't have to. When you know better, you can do better and you make a new choice. And even not making a choice is making a choice. You are choosing not to make the choice. And whatever you are choosing, you are not changing. And you are not changing because you're not choosing to change that thing. So we got to get rid of all the things that are emotionally draining our life force energy. The next reason that you are a mediocre bitch is you have impaired decision making. And what do I mean by that? So when you're constantly distracted, you don't have the focus, your time management's off, you're emotionally drained, you're exhausted, you're resentful, you're angry, you're frustrated, you're all the things, right? When you're distracted, you're going to make poor decisions. You're going to make bad decisions. You're going to make impulsive or even poorly considered decisions around your finances, your relationships, not working out, not eating right, having a dirty ass house, not having pristine emotions, not having fierce boundaries. All of those things are going to lead to loss and debt and poor health and just feeling numb. And that's going to lead to anxiety and depression. And then you're just going to get yourself so deeply entrenched in that shit pit that there may be a time where you just say to yourself, I'm never going to crawl out of this shit pit, so I might as well just friggin' bury myself. And I don't want to see that for you, bitch. You are a child of the Most High God. You are ambitious. Remember who the fuck you are. Do you think God put you here to be a mediocre motherfucker just wasting your life and not experiencing all the beauty and the wonder and the exciting experiences that God has put on this earth for you to have and to experience? I don't think so. So we have to make sure that we are standing firmly in who we are so that we can make great decisions so that we can be successful. I truly believe that the definition of hell is when you die, you're shown almost like a movie on a screen of you, but not you who you were when you passed, but you who you could have been if only you were focused, not distracted, made great decisions, had amazing people around you, focused on the things that you could control. And I don't know about you, but that does not sound fun to me. So I'm going to make sure that I suck the absolute marrow out of every day of my precious human life so that I can honor God, I can honor my family, I can honor my loved ones and my clients and all the young women that look up to me as their role model in life. I want to make them proud. The next thing, the reason why you are not successful and you are holding yourself back from greatness is you have an eroded self-confidence. What do I mean by that? So when you are constantly distracted, you don't know what the fuck you're going, you're like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, okay? Not a firework, a plastic bag drifting through the wind. You are going to lack achievement. And when you lack achievement, that's going to erode your self-confidence. And when you erode your self-confidence, you just get yourself deeper and deeper and deeper into that shit pit. And you feel powerless and helpless and hopeless. And what's the point, right? You say to yourself, why even try? And you always get caught in that blaming of external factors for your problems and why you're mediocre and why you're not successful. So I have a thing in my A28P protocol, which is on my Bitches app. And I always make the girls say that my word is my law and my self-worth depends on it. And what that means is every time you make a promise to yourself to become better, to become more successful, to have more abundance and wealth and happiness and joy and all the things that are your birthright, and then we do the opposite of what we know that we should be doing, it slowly chips away at yourself as a woman, as a confident, high self-esteemed, high valued woman. And then one day you're going to wake up and there is going to be no more confidence. And you are just going to be a shell of who you could have been if only you tried. And I don't want that for you, and bitch, I don't. So we need and must work on our self-confidence by just creating small wins for ourselves. That's why this little notepad is my number one best friend, because every moment when I can cross something off on that notepad, I just feel a little bit more confident because I'm just making these little micro wins, and all those micro wins create macro wins. Those are your big wins, right? Those are your multiple 6 and 7 figure years and, $80,000 months in your business. Okay. All of this is possible. If it can happen to me, it can happen to you. And the last thing that I think, and there's so many others, but these are like the top. The last thing that I think that is truly one of the reasons why we're holding ourselves back from greatness and we're not living up to our potential is we have limited personal growth. We have limited personal development. Why? Why is that? Well, when we're distracted and we don't know where we're going, it reduces the time spent on learning, right? Educating, improving, executing on that education, improving your skills, becoming a master at your craft, which are essential for increasing anything that you desire in your life, right? Wealth, health, happiness, joy, freedom, and all of the other amazing things that we as ambitious women is our right as a living human being. Okay. And it's funny because I've been studying a lot about this signal to noise ratio. Steve Jobs, who is a douche, but he was successful. Everyone has their place. Steve Jobs talks a lot about this. Elon Musk talks a lot about this. Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank talks a lot about this signal to noise ratio. And what they're talking about is you have to realize what is the signal that you hear and feel and experience every day. Those things that are signals to you that's like, you must do this. It's green flashing lights, right? These are the things that are saying to you, go, 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 go. And the noise is all of the distractions, right? It's like the 50 fucking emails a day that mean nothing. It's just mindless bullshit, okay? Or you allowing people to pull you all over and be in their drama and their distraction and their limiting self-beliefs and their not enoughness. And it's the TV, it's the drinking, it's the bad habits. It's the, watching television and eating shit when you know you should be on the treadmill working out and making phone calls to sell. Okay, whatever that is. But when you have less signal and more noise, you're not going to have a successful life. I'm sorry. It's just true. And by overcoming these distractions, it really truly involves prioritizing your goals, managing your time, and developing a winner's mindset, an ambitious mindset, and taking control over everything in your life that you are responsible for, that you can control. Because you can't control other people. You can't control what other people are going to do. You can't control the government. You can't control the market. You can't control anything. All you can control are the things that you can control. And the things that you can control is what I call in Ambitious the 6 life makers. You can control your spirituality and your divine connection to source and God. You can control your boundaries. You can control your emotions. You can control your feelings. You can control your health and wellness. You can control the food that you put in your body, the supplements, the movement, right? You can control how your home is inside and what it looks like and if it's clean. And last but not least, well, there's actually 2 more things. You can control your relationships, who you spend your time with and who you do not spend your time with. And last but not least, you can control your finances. You can control how much you work on your business, how much you sell, how many clients you have, how you're showing up, what kind of service you're giving. Okay. That's the only things that you guys can control. Everything else is just bullshit. And if you think you control those other things, then you are crazy. You need to get your fucking head checked. Okay. You're insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain. Okay. Stop. All right. Only control the things that you can control. So, what are the things that really distract women in this day and age and men? I know that like 90% of my listeners are women, but I have a lot of men folk out there. Hey, man, bitches. Thanks for showing up here. Thanks for being crusaders for the ambitious movement. I appreciate you too. So, what do I feel that are the biggest hurdles that are controlling us, keeping us small, keeping us mediocre, keeping us not living in our highest, greatest good, and keeping us from what God desires for us? Okay. God didn't put us here to be mediocre. God put us here to be ambitious. So, what are the biggest things? So, this is not just from my clients. This is also like things that I do that I know are wrong. And I fall into that trap every so often, but I can pull myself out pretty quick from years and years and years of those, moving the levers, making the muscle grow, right? Working that muscle out and really truly saying, Katie, what the fuck are you doing? So, the first thing is social media and messaging apps and just television in general. And that means YouTube, that means TV, that means mainstream TV as well as streaming services. That means TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and all the other social media modalities that are out there. You got to understand something. All of these apps that just provide a constant stream of noise and dinging and pinging and notifications are always going to divert your attention from the highest, greatest good into low vibrational frequency distraction and chaos. And I myself know that I can sit at night and scroll for an hour easily, just lose an hour. But if it was like, oh, I got to go sit and work for an hour, it would feel like it took 10 years sometimes. But scrolling for an hour, it's like freaking lickety split, right? And you have to say to yourself, if you are not where you desire to be in your life in any way, shape, and form, again, think of the 6 life makers, and you are taking 1, 2, 3, maybe more hours a day watching TV and doom scrolling and watching cat videos on YouTube when your ass should be meal prepping and walking on a treadmill and doing resistance training and cleaning your fucking dirty ass house, you fucking pig, and praying and breathing and meditating and grounding and setting your intentions and working on your business and working on your goals and your dreams and your aspirations. Like, that is why you are not living the life that God put you here to live. The next thing that keeps you distracted is smartphones, right? Notifications, all these gadgets, and let me go back for a second. Even social media, right? Like, if you've ever watched that show on Netflix called The Social Dilemma, and you really realize that these devices have been created to keep you angry, keep you coming back more and more and more, keeping you distracted. It brainwashes you. It rots your brain. It just fills you with lies and propaganda. I don't even know what's AI anymore on social media and what's real anymore. It's crazy. Everyone can just say and do whatever the fuck that they want, which is fine, right? We live in America. It's your First Amendment rights to do what you want to do and say what you want to say, unless you're working for an employer, and then you got to follow their rules. But that's another story for another day. But seriously, guys, it is keeping you so distracted, and it's keeping your brain just rotting, and you're getting dumber and dumber and dumber. And these gadgets like the phone and the laptop and the this and the that, it's pinging and it's alerts for emails and it's social updates and it's news and it's apps and it's all the shit, right? And it's pulling your focus away, and it's keeping you from the more meaningful and rewarding tasks that are going to help you reach your goals. Oh, this number 3 is fucking so bad, guys. It's so bad. Multitasking and information overload are keeping you from being successful. And what does that mean? When you have this life and this ease of being able to switch between multiple apps, 50 tabs on your laptops, devices that are creating an environment of perpetual partial attention and focus, and it just truly makes it so difficult to focus on a single task, and you become that donkey, right? It's like that Aesop's fable about like the donkey who was in the desert and he was equally hungry and thirsty, and then he found this mirage, but it wasn't a mirage, it was real in the middle of the desert. It was just water, a trough of water and a big bale of hay, and he was like, oh my god, do I eat first? Do I eat the hay or do I drink the water? Do I eat the hay or I drink the water? Do I drink the water first or I eat the hay first? And then you know what happens? The fucking donkey dies because he can't make up his goddamn mind, and he just dies of starvation and of thirst, of dehydration, right? And think about in how many ways in our lives are we that donkey, just being pulled and getting this analysis paralysis and just feeling like your whole life is just educating with no execution. You're just taking in more and more and more and more and more information. You're knowing and learning about and being privy to things that you should never even be privy to. Remember, we may be new humans in this millennia, but our brains are still so reptilian. We're working with this like 2 million year old brain still. And our brain is only supposed to really know and is wired for only to know kind of like what's going on in our tribe. We don't need to know if a church is burning down in Minnesota, or there's a mass shooting in Australia, or there's a tsunami in, Japan. We're not supposed to know all this. And I know that a lot of people will be like, Katie, we have to know what's happening in the world. Really, what is it doing for you? It's just making you more anxious and more depressed, and it's putting you deeper in that fear spiral. Why are we doing this to ourselves? It's so cuckoo to me. And again, I fall prey to this all the time. So we have to stop with the multitasking. We have to stop with the information overload. And maybe that's saying to yourself, I'm only going to take in information that pertains on becoming better at my craft, a better master at my craft. The next thing, and this is especially for you out there who have a business and work with other people, this could also be a stay-at-home mom who is deeply entrenched maybe in the PTA and doing things with her kids' schools and having tons of extracurricular activities or whatever. So workplace and philanthropic and responsibility distractions as a woman. So remote work and open office environments and having to sign up for 50 million things and feeling like, you got to do the PTA and you have to do the philanthropic work and you have to do the coat drive and you have to chair this fundraiser and you have to do that thing over there, all while working and keeping a home and. I mean, after a while, like, we as women are so headed for burnout if we're not already there. We're headed for sickness, illness, and disease, and adrenal fatigue, and depression, and anxiety, and just total exhaustion. And our days are just filled with continuous and constant interruptions, instant messages, Slack, emails, fucking constant meetings that get nothing accomplished. And all of these things, they break your focus and they keep you in a perpetual state, circling the drain of distraction. And then you never feel like you're winning because you're not ever closing a loop on anything that you're starting. You're never finishing anything you're starting. Of course, you feel like a bag of smashed assholes. Of course, you feel burnt out. Of course, you're an angry, volatile bitch at home and you're screaming at your kids, you're screaming at your husband, and you're kicking the dog. I would never kick a dog. I'd kick my husband before I kicked my dog. But you get what I'm saying, right? So we have to really cut down on those things that are just total distractions in our day-to-day life. This is one that I'm going to say that sometimes can fuck you up. And personal care, like self-care and wellness gadgets, can also keep you in that state of distraction. So I really do believe, right? Like, I have a bunch of wellness gadgets. I have my Hume Bod Pod, which is also a sponsor of the Ambitious podcast. We'll get to that in a moment. But, it can be your Apple Watch. It can be, any kind of constant monitoring of your health data they could be wearables or fitness apps or just stepping on the scale multiple times a day, or always feeling like, okay, I have to go get my nails done. I have to get my hair done. I have to get my lashes done. I have to get a massage. I have to get a facial. Like, all that stuff sounds really good. But when you're already like deeply distracted, you already have not enough time to wipe your ass after you take a dump, and you're focused on, all those other things. Is it really self-care? Is it really helping you feel good? Or is it just another thing to add on your to-do list that is just frivolous and just another thing to drain more of your life force energy? So that is going to keep you from your priorities all the time. And then once you get your priorities done, then you can say, you know what? I did everything on my to-do list today. Tomorrow I'm gonna go get my hair blown out, or I'm gonna go get a massage, or I'm gonna go get a facial. Right. But if you're making that like almost like part of your work every day, you're not gonna like it. I don't do my nails anymore. I fucking hate it. Candace Marino and I, the LA facials, a very close friend of mine, we have this thing, we call it nail jail. Sitting there and getting a pedicure and getting manicure to me is like sitting in jail. I know. Some of you guys are like, I love getting my nails done. I hate it. I think it's a total waste of time. And the last thing that I really feel that keeps us distracted from our greatness is constant news and information cycles. So when you're cycling the news, I don't care if you're left or right or in the middle and you're watching CNN all fucking day or Fox News or MSNBC or whatever the hell you're into, and you're getting the 24 news cycle and they're just propagandizing you and they're just brainwashing you and you're getting those real-time updates, and that's going to keep you constantly engaged with urgent or sensationalized content that often comes at the expense of productivity and reflection and working on your goals, right? And listen, I could go down the line and I could say drinking is a distraction and eating like shit is a distraction and gambling and sex and all kinds of stuff. But these are like the main distractions that I feel that most of my clients have the hardest time with. So now we're going to take a little break and we're going to talk about our first sponsor of the Ambitious podcast, and that is Keto Chow. Ambitches, are you on a quest for easy, delicious, and keto-friendly fuel? Well, we've got some exciting news. Keto Chow, the leading meal replacement company, as well as electrolyte company, dedicated to supporting your ketogenic lifestyle, is now the official sponsor of the Ambitious podcast. Imagine a quick, convenient way to get all your essential nutrients from healthy fats and proteins and vitamins and minerals in one yummy shake in one electrolyte pack. And that's Keto Chow. Whether you're crushing your workouts, busy with work, or just looking for a tasty way to stay on track, Keto Chow is your go-to hero. And here's the best part. To celebrate, Keto Chow is offering 10% off of all products just for you, our loyal, ambitious listeners from all across the globe. So all you have to do is once you're done with this podcast, scroll down to the show notes and click the link to use your code at checkout. So why wait? Fuel your ambition, stay keto, and be hydrated and save big on Keto Chow, the meal revolution that keeps you energized, satisfied, and thriving on your journey. That's Keto Chow, proud sponsor of the Ambitious Podcast, your partner in living your most ambitious life. Now go get your shake on. And it's funny because the other day I was so hungry and I had like no groceries and I had this like rogue, unsweetened, just like totally like whatever Greek yogurt. And I had a packet of the blueberry pie protein powder and I put it in my yogurt and I topped it with some fresh berries and some paleo Nola granola. And I had the best breakfast of my life. And it was so yummy. And I'm telling you, you got to get Keto Chow. It's amazing. And I drink a shake a day every day to make sure I get my protein in because, you know, bitches needs protein, honey. Got to build those strong muscles. Okay. So remember how I was talking about before, how you're doing too much education. You're doing too much education with no execution, and that can significantly contribute to your distractions and stagnation and your just mediocrity, right? And this phenomena, and I'm sure you've heard it, been a big thing on social media. We talk about it a lot, and it's called paralysis by analysis. And this occurs in individuals when and here's what happens, okay? So when you do these things, you're gonna be in that state of analysis paralysis. And I'm telling you, when you're in that state, and I've been in it before, it's not good. And it's gonna kill your creativity, it's gonna kill your goals, and you are not gonna be your most ambitious self. So how do you find yourself in that state of analysis by paralysis or paralysis by analysis? Or you know what I'm talking about. Analysis paralysis. So number one, you overconsume information, right? So again, you're continuously learning new concepts, courses, skills, etc., without applying them. It's one thing to coach with a coach or join an app like Ambitious and learn all these things and get on a healthy meal plan and have a supportive community and all the things that we offer. But when you get on that app or you buy that course and you don't do it, and you just like listen, but you don't actually execute, you don't use the tools that are being put in front of you, that's going to lead to overwhelm and indecision. The next thing that keeps you in analysis paralysis is avoiding action due to being a fearful bitch or being a self-proclaimed perfectionist. So people are going to delay execution because they fear making mistakes or believe that they need to master every single detail before acting. Ladies, do it messy. You can always mid-course correct. You can always go back and fix the thing. But if you're waiting for your book to be perfect, or the course that you're creating to be perfect, or for you to get one more master's degree or one more certification, I am telling you that that is the wrong thing to do. The next thing that keeps you in that paralysis by analysis is escaping from immediate responsibilities. So excessive focus on learning and educating and just bringing in more and more and more information serves as a distraction by taking concrete steps towards their goals, especially when facing challenges and especially when you're facing uncertainty. Okay. The next thing is you have a lack of practical progress. Okay. So without taking action, knowledge remains theoretical, right? And they miss out on gaining real world experience, which is essential for growth and success. That's why people go to college and they think that they're so fucking smart. But guess what? You don't really learn the things until you do the things. So a lot of times in college, you go to these classes and the people that are teaching, say, a business course have never fucking owned a business. They have no motherfucking business teaching business courses. I don't give a fuck where. You know, Karina, my stepdaughter, she went to BU Business School, top 5 business schools in the world. And she works for me and she works for her dad. And she does so much in our company. And if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have half the things that we have. But one day she said to me, I learned more from you and daddy just by watching what you do in your businesses and seeing how you uphold this level of professionalism and care for your clients and service and value that you want to give your clients every day over listening to these tenured professors talk at BU who've never fucking had a business in their lives. They just are studying economy and theory and bullshit, and it's all a bunch of crapola. The next thing is they're in a constant search for the perfect solution. Oh my God, this annoys me so bad about certain clients that I've worked with in the past. This can prevent us from starting, from beginning, from doing the thing, right? From taking the leap. And people may be waiting for the ideal time or condition or information or signal or permission, and that may never arrive. So if you are waiting, okay, if you are waiting for someone to give you permission to validate you that you should be doing this or doing that, don't hold your breath because you're going to fucking suffocate. Just do it. Do it. Don't tell me about what you're going to do. Don't talk about what you're going to do. Don't try to talk me into believing that you're going to do the things. Just motherfucking do the damn thing. And you know what? Do it in silence. Don't tell a fucking soul until the thing is done. Okay? Because I'm telling you right now, and I'm going to do a podcast about this. Stop telling people your big dreams, goals, and aspirations because guess what? They're mediocre. They don't have a big mindset like that. They don't think big picture, and they're going to try to just suck the fucking air out of your room, and it's not worth it. Move in silence. Okay? Move in silence. The next thing that I want to talk about quickly is our second podcast sponsor, and that is Hume. So, Ambitious Podcast sponsor Hume, BodPod. And if you're serious about optimizing your health and achieving your fitness goals, I've got something you'll want to hear about. I've partnered with Hume, the revolutionary at-home body composition measurement system. And with Hume, you can get an accurate DEXA scan right from your own home at a fraction of the cost of traditional scans. And thanks to Hume, all of my clients and all of my listeners are able to track their progress more precisely, whether they're looking to shed fat, build muscle, up their bone density, or just get a clearer picture of their overall health. The Hume Bod Pod scale has been a game changer in helping my clients unlock their best shape ever. And I've been using Hume too over the summer, and I've lost 20 pounds just tracking these things that you just don't think about because weight is a liar. You know, on the scale, weight is bullshit. I want to know what your bone density is. I want to know your muscle tone. I want to know your metabolic health. I want to know your resting heart rate, your visceral fat, your adipose tissue. That's what I, as a health coach, who has 25 years of experience in this field, that's what I want to know. I don't give a shit about your weight. You can weigh 200 pounds and be built like a brick shit house and be in the best shape possible, more than someone that weighs 110 pounds. And here's the best part. If you use the code provided in our show notes at hume.com, you're going to receive $20 off your purchase. That's right. Take control of your health today with cutting edge technology that's accessible and affordable. Don't wait. Get your body measurements spot on, set your fitness goals, and crush them. So head over to hume.com and use our code. You're going to be in the best shape, and it's just one measurement away. Okay, so let's get back to why you're a mediocre motherfucker. Maybe it's because you don't have a Hume Bod Pod. Maybe because you don't use Keto Chow. All right. But ultimately, balance truly is the key, and continuous learning should be complemented with constant action and execution. Okay. And applying knowledge accelerates progress, it builds your confidence, and it helps overcome the distractions that come from over educating without execution. Okay. So, how are we going to combat as ambitious women all of the things that I just spoke about? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. So, these are the things that I focus on, my personal self. And these are the things that I have my clients that I focus on, whether it's at KBMC Wellness or it's in my business mentorship container or it's on my Ambitious app or it's in my book or on this podcast or any of the things where I teach. Okay. Whether I'm speaking at a retreat or I'm doing a speaking engagement somewhere, these are the biggest tools that I use and I teach. And I think that this, I shouldn't say I think, shut up, Katie, choose your words better. I know that this is what is going to truly help you become your most ambitious self. So here is the top things that I focus on. So my number one focus is always personal growth. So I constantly and continuously, without wavering, I'm always going to focus on developing really good habits, a great mindset, strong skills that are going to improve my character, my resilience, my morals, my ethics, who I am as a person, my adaptability. Okay. And success always follows focusing on your self improvement. That's just bottom line. The next thing that I focus on is continuous and consistent action. So, prioritizing taking daily or weekly steps toward my goals and your goals, even if they're tiny, microscopic baby steps. Really, it's about consistency creates momentum over time. And it's just another brick in the wall. And all of a sudden, one day you wake up and that wall is like a skyscraper. The next thing that I focus on is creating value. So focus, especially this is for people out there in the service industry, focus on how you provide value to others, whether it's through your work or your relationships or your contributions to, your society or to some kind of a philanthropic endeavor or your community. Success tends to follow when you're genuinely adding value, and you're adding value without asking for anything in with a quid pro quo. So you're doing it and not caring like, oh, if I do this, then I have to get that back. That is a really shitty way to live, and you're going against a law of the universe. If you are a good person and you are providing continuous value to the world around you, there is no way in hell that you are not going to succeed. It may take time, but you will, because the alternative is giving up. And if you give up, you'll never know what you could have achieved if only you just kept your head down and stayed focused and just kept hammering away. The next thing that I focus on is focus on building relationships. So cultivating meaningful connections that can support and elevate our journey is key. And success is rarely achieved alone. I had a really amazing spiritual event at my wellness center last month. And it was just so beautiful to look out into my studio and see all these beautiful women from all over coming together to not only work on themselves, but to meet other like-minded women and to bond and to build new relationships. Because people are always like, oh, where do I find my people? I just can't find people like me. It's like, you're not looking in the right places. It's like, if you're into health and wellness, join a beautiful, nice wellness center. If you're into self-development, join an app that focuses on self-development. If you want to hone a skill, join a retreat. Maybe you come in the spring of 2026 to one of my retreats, whether it's with Candice Marino, the LA facialist, at the Radiant AF retreat in Imiloa in Costa Rica in March, or it's in Portugal with us, or it's in Costa Rica with me, or wherever we're going to be. Maybe that's what you do, because then you're going to be thrusted into this environment and this community of all these women who are waking up every day to become better, who want more from their beautiful lives. So don't make excuses like, I can't find anyone like me. It's like, you're not looking in the right places. You know what I'm saying? Number 5, practicing patience and persistence. Triple P. Practicing patience and persistence. So understand that success takes time, and you have to put a massive emphasis on persistence and resilience and determination and learning from your failures and learning from your falls and learning from your setbacks. And the last thing is clarity of purpose. What is your definiteness of purpose? Why did God put you here? What is your mission? What is your life contract? What is your purpose? Why are you here? Because everyone here is for a reason. And the quicker that you find out why you're here, the better your life is going to be. So you must, as an ambitious woman, as an HBIC, head bitch in charge or head bitch in control, whatever you want to say, you have to define what success means to you personally. And you have to keep aligning your efforts with your core values and your passions. And this focused approach keeps you motivated and it keeps you on track. So when distractions do come your way, which they will, you're a living human breathing person. Okay. You're going to be distracted continuously and constantly from today on for the rest of your life until you take your last breath. You have to know why you're here. And instead of obsessing continuously and constantly over being uber successful, I want you to concentrate on continuous small improvements that provide value and you're giving consistent effort. And then over time, these will lead to sustainable success and ultimate fulfillment. And for me, it's really about my core desired feelings. How do I desire to feel every day? And for me, it's about feeling freedom to be able to choose who I work with, to able to choose what I do every day, to be able to choose the things that I do and do not do. And to me, that's what success truly is to be able to wake up when you want, not have to ask a grown adult to take a vacation or to use the bathroom or to go pick up your sick kid at school. It's about creating a life that is value driven, that is purpose driven, and ultimately being the HBIC of your most ambitious life. So, ladies, I hope that you gained so much value and clarity and service. And I hope that I smacked you in the back of the head a little bit and I woke you up. And if you feel like I brought value and service to you today, please share this Ambitious Podcast episode with as many people as you can. Also, don't forget, if you're on iTunes, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review. If I read your iTunes review on this podcast, I'll send you a beautiful gift from the bottom of my little black heart to say thank you for taking time out of your busy, ambitious life to do so. And the more women that we share this movement and this message with, the more women that wake up, we can save this world. I know that sounds crazy, but we are going to save this world. Western women, especially, are the ones that are going to save this world from going to the devil. And I don't know about you, but I know that God put me on this earth to be a lighthouse and a beacon of hope and to show women that you don't have to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth and you don't have to be a Nepo baby. You can come from nothing and create the life of your dreams just by simply staying on track with the things that we talk about here in Ambitious Land. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. I thank you from the bottom of my little black heart. And thank you for being crusaders to this ambitious movement. And like I always say, see you next Tuesday. And don't forget to stay ambitious.